How much does it cost to evict somebody? When you have a tenant in your unit that isn't paying rent, how much does it actually cost you as a landlord to get them out of your unit and replace them with a new tenant? Let's find out. Over the years as a property owner, I've had to evict many different people. And what I've realized throughout that process, there's a lot of different ways it can cost you money. But if you know them, you can mitigate some of your risk and not pay all that money. So in this video, I want to give you the 5 different ways an eviction can cost you money. But stick around to the end because I have a free gift for you hanging out with us today. The very first way it's going to cost you is through legal fees, because I would encourage nobody to do an eviction without hiring an attorney. And that attorney is going to charge you anywhere from $200, $600, $800. Some eviction attorneys even charge as high as $1,000, again, depending on the state in which you live. If you live in New York City, that process takes a lot more time and a lot more work, so an eviction attorney is going to charge you a little bit more. If you live in the Midwest, where that process goes a little smoother, the attorney is going to charge you a lot less, and it's not going to cost you near as much money. Legal fees vary from attorney to attorney. Some of them charge you a set fee to do an eviction. Others charge you a set fee plus hours on the job, because sometimes more paperwork needs to be delivered, more proof needs to be given, and every process is a little bit different. The best way to plan for an eviction cost is to talk to your property manager or to talk to other owners in your area to see what it costs them to do an eviction, and you'll know before you buy a property in a city what it's probably going to cost you as far as legal cost you to evict somebody as well. But it's worth every penny because these attorneys save you time, and they're the ones that can really get this done. And because we know if we do evict somebody, often we can garnish their wages as they move out. An attorney will make sure we're set up to do that. So an attorney will make their money back and then some by making sure the process is handled quickly and in a right way. The second way an eviction is going to cost you money is with court costs. You're going to have to pay a filing fee of usually $50 to $100 depending on the state, again, but you're going to pay a filing fee to request that date to go before the judge. Sometimes as you go through these costs, it can get frustrating with how much it actually costs just to simply get your unit back. It almost feels wrong at some point, but here's what I want you to see. Remove that from your mindset. We're in the mindset of helping people. I've had way more great tenants over the years than I've had tenants I need to evict. This is one of those unpleasant parts of the job, but it doesn't happen all the time. So again, while yes, it feels like it's wrong, and it is, it's not what we deal with every day, and it's certainly not what we focus on as property owners. But for court costs, the national average is around $50 to file a claim in court and go before the judge to request your unit back. The third way an eviction could cost you money is through financial damages. Obviously, the legal costs, the court costs, and recouping that cost is really, really difficult. In fact, there's only a 17% success rate in seeking to recoup lost legal and court fees in order to actually evict somebody from your property. So while they're not paying you rent, it's on your dime in which you remove them. Again, I know this feels wrong, but it's the process that we have to go through every now and then. But as a side note, make sure you're leasing right. The other financial damage is turning over the unit. Once they do get out, you often have to clean it, and a lot of times, if they're getting evicted, they don't really treat the place very well, and so you have to do extra cleaning, sometimes removing all the flooring and doing new floors. So again, it's a lot of money that goes into making the unit what we call rent ready or ready to move to another tenant. Make sure you stick around to the end. I'm going to give you the number one way to make sure you can cut this cost down as you evict somebody. But also, make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit that bell notification so you get notified every time we put out a video, which is every single weekday. Let's get back to the content. The fourth way it costs you money, as I just lightly mentioned, is the property damage. A lot of times you have extensive property damage that you need to fix in order to rent it to a new tenant. Now, routine property maintenance and turning over a unit, of just cleaning the unit, making sure the carpets are all clean, making sure the walls are all clean, that's normal wear and tear of a property. Property damages are actual damages to your property that you need to fix because of that tenant. Historically, I've seen broken doors, cabinet doors that were ripped off, pipes that were cut and taken out. A lot of property damage happens in an eviction process because tenants are really frustrated that they're getting taken out of their unit. You and I know that's kind of crazy because they signed up for this and they just simply didn't keep up their end of the bargain. But the truth of the matter is, some people go a little sideways. And the reason I say some people, I do not focus on that as a property owner. That's not where I put my attention. I put my attention into my great units in which I love to serve. And even those that I have to evict, I still speak to them as though I don't want to do this. I hate having to do this because believe me, it costs me way more money than it costs them. So I don't want to do this either. So the truth of the matter is, sometimes, sadly, you have to deal with property damage. Sometimes people will damage your property. You'll have to invest money into it to get that next tenant in. But again, don't let that be the reason you don't get into rental property. Don't let that be the reason you don't buy property to rent to tenants, because the truth is, most of them are amazing. That's the mindset that's kept our business continuing to grow and add value to people. But the fifth one is sometimes the biggest hit, which is the lost rent. The time that they're not paying, we often lose that rent and we never get that back, especially if we don't structure our leases correctly. Now, this amount can shift and change based on what state you own property in. For example, if you own property in a very tenant-friendly state and landlord-tough state like California or like New York, tenants can often stay in there anywhere from 6 months to a year and some 18 months without ever paying rent. That's why we are really careful to invest in those areas and really don't invest in those areas because it's too hard to manage through some of these processes if something happens and a tenant gets in there that really can't pay rent. Think about the difference in rent. You own a unit in the Midwest at $750 versus a unit on the coast at $4,000 or $5,000 a month. Do the math over unpaid rent over time. This is why I really want you to invest in landlord-friendly states. But the thing that can cut all of this down, there's one thing you can do that can make you pay half as much as everybody else through an eviction, and that is have very hard, strict leasing processes. Often in real estate, we say you make money when you buy, not when you sell. We say that because the cheaper you buy the property, the more likely you are to make money on the property. So often we'll say you make money where you buy. I say in rental property, you make money when you rent. The idea is when you pick a great tenant, you don't have to work to get them to pay because that's just what they do. It never dawns on them to not pay rent. So having a hard, strict leasing process, meaning having background checks, great application processes, a great screening process, and a great interview process, it's going to give you the ability to sift through those tenants that are probably going to be problems over the long haul and partner with tenants that are going to be great tenants for you. Also, make sure you watch our video on how property managers pick excellent tenants. I also want to give you a free gift today. I want to give you our free multifamily masterclass. If you click the link in the description, you're going to be taken straight to our multifamily masterclass where I go over the 5 things you can do to get a piece of multifamily in under 71 days. I'll see you there.